Hi, and welcome to the October 2023 edition of Flexera's monthly Software Vulnerability Insights, a monthly report that can be downloaded from our website. I'm your host, Jeroen, and today we have a record-breaking monthly report to discuss. It's essential for any IT security or operations professional, so stay tuned. This comprehensive monthly review is based upon the data of awesome Security research team at Flexera, who produces valuable advisories leveraged by enterprise security and operations teams around the world. The Security research team is comprised of several security specialists who methodically test, verify, and validate disclosed vulnerabilities from hundreds of sources. Since the founding of Security research team in 2002, it has been their goal to provide the most accurate and reliable source of vulnerability intelligence. So let's dive right in at what they have worked on. So once again, October is smashing records. We reported like a whopping 1,055 advisories this month. Compare that with last month where we only did 864, and that was even a record-breaking month. So 2022 is set up. 2022 was set up as the record year. However, currently, guess what? 2023 has already surpassed 2022 in October, so by more than 10%. And we are projecting to have an increase of 25 to 35% in total. If you look at November 1st, the year-to-date total was 7,769 advisories, which is much higher than 2022, with only 5,896 year-to-date advisories. So we are really getting stronger in the reporting. So let's talk about some crucial takeaways from this report. So if you look at the report, and again, you can download it, and I will show the link later. This month we have seen an increase on every level, right? The number of vendors disclosing vulnerabilities, the number of unique products, unique versions is increasing rapidly. An interesting finding, though, is that there are less CVEs reported. This could mean, that more products are affected by the same CVEs. And this is mostly related, probably, actually I've checked it, and to mostly the Linux and Unix variants and the Oracle products that share the same source. If we look at the attack factor, nearly 57% of all vulnerabilities reported this month to have a remote attack factor. That is a significant increase from the previous month, which was 52%. So, and remote describes vulnerabilities where the attack vector does not require access to the system nor to a local network. This category covers services which are acceptable to expose to the internet, for example, like HTTPS, HTTP, SMTP, as well as client applications used on the internet. So everything what is outside facing, internet facing. And certain vulnerabilities where it is reasonable to assume that the security conscious user can be tricked into performing certain actions. So better watch out. On the criticality side, the Security research team reported only 6 extreme critical advisories this month. That's down from 11 last month. Well, maybe it seems like it's good news. It's essential to stay vigilant as other forms of cyber threats continue to evolve. And those are, for example, the 0 days. We had 18 0 days reported this month for various major vendors like Cisco, Citrix, Apple, Microsoft, Atlassian, on the news all the week, and Android. 0 days are the holy grail for hackers, right? Their presence in the report, it emphasizes the constant cat and mouse game in the cybersecurity world. So these are very important to take care of. I would say the highest priority for you. From a criticality standpoint as well, if we look at the criticality versus threat score, which is very interesting, we see that moderately critical vulnerabilities are having the highest threat score on average. What does that say? That means that, if we focus only on the high critical or extreme critical vulnerabilities only as a high priority, we will probably miss out on a lot of the moderately critical vulnerabilities that have a threat associated with it. Let's look at some other information. Like, it's interesting to note that some of that more than 65% of all advisories come just from 5 vendors. We're talking about SUSE, Oracle, Amazon, Red Hat, Ubuntu. However, these vendors also have the most rejected advisories, showing the importance of rigorous scrutiny and discernment. If we look at the rejected advisories, Amazon leads the pack with about 24 out of 152 advisories being rejected, followed by SUSE with 22, Ubuntu 17, and Red Hat with 4. And it's a reminder that not all advisories are created equal. So let's talk a bit about these rejected advisories. There are many vulnerabilities posted on the NVD, the National Vulnerability Database, by lots of people and companies. And they're not always valid, right? They're maybe not assigned a proper criticality score. And in some cases, a vulnerability may be even legitimate, but not the effort for the attacker to take any benefit from it. The Security research team at Flexera evaluates these vulnerabilities from hundreds of sources and rescores them when necessary, even rejects vulnerabilities not worth your attention. Rejection advisories helps you to reduce the volume of vulnerabilities by mitigation and by helping you to focus only on those that are present and reasonable risk on your environment. An advisory may be rejected for many reasons. Some of the common ones are non-reachable or no gain, like, there is no gain for the attacker, or there's no exploitability. There's no exploitability because, for example, policy forbids installation of affected software. Or maybe it's dependent on others. So there's a lot of information that we provide in this report about rejected advisories and advisories themselves. So it's very important to see that kind of information. Another common misconception is maybe that every vulnerability in your organization should be addressed immediately. But keeping up with vulnerability disclosures that affect your environment is a constant, ongoing challenge. It can take days, hours at least, to manually package, test, release any given update. But with the right vulnerability prioritization in place, you could work much faster, much smarter, with greater impact, and focusing on patching just the right 10% of those vulnerabilities affecting your environment. Because what we say, that 10% of them makes the biggest threat for your organization. But to do that, we need data like criticality score. We need threat intelligence. We need CVSS score, impact, attack factor, prevalence, and much, much more. So how do we do that? And how do we get those insights? So if you look at the, focus on vulnerabilities with a criticality or a CVSS score of 7 and higher, that will probably only address about 50% of all the exploits that are out there. Most exploits are CVSS scored between 4 to 7. So focus on vulnerabilities of the top 20 vendors should only address about 20%. So that brings me to 2 takeaways I want to share with you. Takeaway 1 is the critical vulnerabilities do not necessarily present the most risk. So the higher the criticality is, doesn't say anything. If you leverage threat intelligence, you're able to better prioritize what demands your most urgent attention. And organizations who do not have threat intelligence data should consider implementing this to get the bigger picture. Takeaway number 2, about 85 to 95% of all the vulnerabilities that are being disclosed, they have a patch available, typically within 24 hours after disclosure. Since most of the vulnerabilities are being vendor patched, in fact, most vulnerabilities are patched within 24 hours after disclosure. So the challenge still remains that organizations do not have full visibility or awareness when a vulnerability is disclosed. It's called the time to awareness. Another big challenge is the time to remediation. The time from having this information, correlating that with your environment, and initiating the process to get the software updated to a secure version. The interesting thing is that 99% of all exploits exploit known disclosed vulnerabilities. So there's no really a reason to wait, right? Especially when hackers are getting faster and more organized every day. It only takes them about 1 to 7 days to start exploiting these known vulnerabilities. And you could have known about it. So don't stop, patch immediately. All right, well, I think we're almost at the end for, a sneak peek on the report. You can get your hands on the full report and delve deeper in these statistics, insights, and You can download it from our website, flexera.com/SVM. And if you're interested to start working with this world-class software vulnerability research data yourselves, please contact me for a product demo or trial. Thanks for tuning in to Flexera's monthly Vulnerability Insights. Stay safe, stay informed, and until next time, this is Jeroen signing off. Goodbye.